Just picked up a new Tour Striker golf club, training club. Wanted to try it. I think it's going to help me with my game all around, but mostly, more than on full shots, I'm thinking I'm going to get a big boost with my short game. That leading hands impact that you need. So, thought I'd do a little demonstration of it, and I hope it works out. Well, this is an 8-iron, and I usually hit an 8-iron in the summertime about 150 yards. In this cold weather, I probably wouldn't be able to hit it more than 135 yards. But that green is about 90-ish yards away. The way this club works, as you can see, that it's like a sand wedge with bounce, but instead of having 12 or so degrees of bounce, it's got about a ½ inch of bounce. If you come in to make impact with the shaft straight up and down and a ball resting there, you will blade it. In order to make proper impact, the shaft needs to be leaning forward and the golf club needs to be descending through the ball in this direction. The club works best if hit from a tight lie, for example off of a mat or a lie board. Don't have either of those right now, so I'm hitting it off this tight winter grass. But if you can get the divot after the ball and you can get good height on the ball, you know you've swung the club properly. Otherwise, it's still possible to have a vertical shaft and catch the ball right there if you can manage to sink this much of the club down into the turf. Well, one of the things that I've learned over the years of playing golf, I've had the opportunity to play in scrambles with some very good players. Now I'm a mid-handicapper. My handicap's around 10 to 12. But I've played with some golfers that were in the 4 to +2 range. People who consistently shoot par or sometimes even 4 or 5 strokes better than par. And in the scramble play, they would often put the ball into places where I wasn't really used to being, which would be 60 to 80 yards from the green. And so at every single hole, I'd be standing there with a sand wedge in my hand, hitting a 3/4 to a full shot at the green. And because the pressure's on, I tended to do pretty well. And it would actually hit the green pretty close to the pin. And as I watched my shot fly, the +2 golfer would step up, take a 3/4 swing with a sand wedge, and his ball would not go even half as high in the air as mine did. And yet he would stick it right next. Well, somebody's hitting over there on the tees, and they just put one about 50 feet from me. Anyway, I noticed this, the +2 golfer tended to hit their ball much lower than I did. Sometimes with half the height that I had, and their ball actually stopped quicker than mine did and would spin backwards. And I knew that part of the reason that was this forward leading shaft that they were able to produce, able to hit with the shaft leaning forward and delofting the club. Basically had that feeling of dragging the iron through the shot. And I tried to duplicate it with some success here and there, but it's not part of my natural shot. And I think this club is practicing with this club is going to help me make it feel more natural. Well, so far so good. It sure does reward a good swing. You put a good swing on this club and you get a nice pretty ball flight. Moreover, this club actually has really good feel. I'm really happy with my purchase. And every mediocre swing I've put out so far that would have produced at least flying it most of the way to the green type of shot has resulted in a worm burner along the ground. And that's the kind of immediate feedback I need. I can really feel when the swing's in the right groove, right through the ball, that it's a good swing, and it's the kind of swing that produces the best results. I'm getting a nice mid-low ball flight right up to and landing on the green. And the type of swings I usually swing where I get a really bad result, I'm getting an even worse result with this club. And the mediocre swings where I'm a little fat, I'm finding that hitting this club fat does not give you a very rewarding impact either. This rounded edge really will dig into the, will mush into the ground and tends to stop the club. And I don't know. I think I like it. I think if I get better and if I manage to get myself into single digits, I'm going to pick up the 5-iron.